Good morning, LinkedIn family. It's time for another Coffee with Bob. Today, I am joined with the amazing Bernie Fussenberger. Berger. I told you I
You
would
did
screw
it. You
that up in our
said
prep.
you would. It's actually Fussenegger, and that's
Fussenegger.
your
There we go. I knew I would do that.
different varieties all the time. Bernie's just fine.
Very good. So Bernie just fine. So Bernie and I have been connected actually for a little bit, a while.
Quite some time, yes.
Yeah, and we've messaged on and off, and we've commented on each other's posts. But we've never had a chance to do this, so I'm very excited to have you on board. For those of you who are not connected with Bernie, I highly recommend it. He started this new initiative called Career Barn, which has been more recent than not. Then is doing some great stuff to help people um, flourish on LinkedIn and find work. He's also got B27, which is his Twitter handle, up and running. Bernie, tell us a little bit more about it, because I think it's fascinating what you're doing.
Well, the Career Barn, believe it or not, I started that 20 years ago.
Wow.
It was in the year 2000, and back then it was all word of mouth. It was flyers putting up on telephone poles. I got to the point where I was actually able to buy radio spots. And
Oh,
then,
wow.
at that point, it's like, oh, wow, okay, we're doing pretty good. And it was very focused on the Louisville area. Then over time, I started to grow it out to different cities as the site itself grew. And really, when you think about it, and as I look back, it was really the first time I really got into content marketing and creating content for specific audiences, for specific segments, and really using SEO and organic to really get that Google search, get it up higher, and whatnot. But as life happens, that's one of those things. Once I started having kids and whatnot, it kind of faded off a little bit. So then, about 2 years ago, I was like, how can I bring this back in a more digital social world? So back in December, I relaunched Career Barn, and the pandemic hit, and there was a need for those services again. And with Career Barn, there is no cost for the employer, no cost for the job seeker. I try to go out and find jobs that are relevant, that are exciting, that people would be, something that they would enjoy doing. And really, that's kind of where it's come back into. And we've got over 700 active subscribers. We've got our active accounts, 4,100 Facebook followers. We've got 1,800 on the business page within LinkedIn. And that's the nice thing about LinkedIn as well, is how these two really go together. I mean, I post every day about the new jobs that are added. I send it out to the email database, and I've got people, always messaging me about, okay, I'm looking for this, or do you have that? And this is just a way for me to give back my experiences and my talents to people that need help in this area. And it's something that it's actually very enjoyable to be able to do that, and to be able to have a forum to where people can go, where you can help them out. The resume writing, connected with Curtis, of course, from LinkedIn, and he's our the source that we have for the resume writing. I've actually used Curtis here just recently for my personal side, and recommended him to quite a few other people. So I've got to give a huge shout out to Curtis, because he has done just some wonderful stuff here lately. Awesome. And that kind of that's kind of the pretense of Career Barn and where that is, with some of the like the B to the 7 behind me. So that's what I go by on Twitter, and really with Twitter and social and LinkedIn, it's really helping brands target and segment consumers with digital and social solutions. And it's about building relationships, it's about listening, it's about engaging, it's about it's a two to two conversation. It's not all about me, it's all about we. And as brands, that's a big part that I think brands miss out on, is just the building of the relationships with their audiences and with their community, with their customers. There's way too much selling and not enough listening, and social is just built for that. And brands should really be taking more advantage of engaging with their active consumers to build a long-term loyal customer.
Yeah, very, very, very true. And you see that happening a lot on LinkedIn, especially.
Yeah.
I know you're like me. You have a lot of connections. You have a lot of followers, and I get tons and tons of direct pitch messages every day. And I tell you, they go straight to the delete file for me, because you got to build that relationship first, right? So
Oh,
I'm glad
absolutely.
that's something that you're focusing on.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned LinkedIn. So I'm very active on LinkedIn and Twitter. And, Twitter is one of those where it took me a while to truly understand how to make it work and how
Hmm.
to engage. And they've got Twitter chats out there. And I do host a Twitter chat every Friday at noon. It's called Digital 360 Chat, where I bring in a other professional within social and digital and talk about their career, how they got to where they did. If they're solo, why did they go solo? What were the pitfalls? How did they plan for it? Things that they're proud about, within their career. But within these Twitter chats, they happen, once a week. It's all followed by a keyword, and there could be anywhere from 10 to 200 professionals at the same time talking about the same topic. So
Really?
you're building relationships, you're learning, you're sharing, and a lot of times you can take those actionable items straight from that Twitter chat into your own programs. So I mean, there's benefits to all these different channels, but really it's what works best for you, what
Hmm.
works best for you to engage, what works best for you to build those relationships, and most importantly, how can you learn and how
Yeah.
can you share what your experiences back with these communities.
I'm gonna have to check that out, because I'll be honest. I am not a Twitter guy. I have been, and I've tweeted here and there, but I've really not dove into the whole Twitter thing, or Facebook is just personal stuff. I use that to
Yeah.
go see the new grandkid, right? For me, it's always been, I've been really focused on LinkedIn, but that the Twitter, the Digital 360 chat sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to join that.
And I mean, Twitter is interesting. You've got lists. I've got tons of lists of professionals that are very similar to what I do and whatnot, but you can kind of see what they post, and it's very interactive. It's very engaging, very much like LinkedIn, but
Mhm.
I think of it more real time
Ah,
and real time engagement, where LinkedIn at times may not be as real time, but you're still building relationships, and that's the
right.
important part. Is you've got to show up. You can't just be on social to be social. You actually have to be social,
Hmm.
and you have to listen and to engage to build that relationship. And that's anywhere. That's in real life. That's whatever. And the most important thing is you got to be yourself. You got to be human. And if someone were to walk up to me today, I'm going to be the same person now as you see on LinkedIn, as on Twitter, and wherever else you may see me. But that's the important thing. Just be yourself,
Yep.
be honest, have integrity, and treat people with respect. And that's the key parts, I think, of social. Is you've got to live that part of it and do that part of it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. I can't begin to tell you how many times I enter into conversations like this with people. At the end of the conversation, they say, "Wow, you're really that way on LinkedIn. You're really that way in
Yeah,
person as you are on LinkedIn." I say, "Yeah, I am. It is who I am." Right?
no, absolutely.
Yeah, I think being authentic is great, and what I love about your stuff, Bernie, is that you are truly authentic, and you are who you are, which is amazing. And I know personally, I've learned a bunch from you, and then I've actually tagged people in comments when you post your jobs that I know are looking
Right.
for something, because you're an excellent resource.
And that's where I've kind of differentiate the two between LinkedIn and Twitter. So
Mhm.
LinkedIn, I've pretty much focused over the last 6 months on the career side of it, the job side of it. I mean,
Mhm.
there is a need there. The audience obviously is there as well. So, that's where that need is. In the past, I would post a lot about social and digital and email programs and whatnot. But, I've kind of separated to where Twitter is more about the digital and the social side. So, I've got two different types of audiences and two different
Mhm.
types of content for each one of the channels. And, it works very well that way, to where, the message doesn't get flooded out by just too much other stuff that's being
Right.
posted. So it's
Yeah.
very specific, it's very targeted, and it has a purpose on each of the channels.
Awesome. Bernie, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I want to do it long. I want to do a longer one with you. I want to do a coffee talk live. So let's get that scheduled.
Oh, absolutely. And thanks very much for having me on. This has been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Same with you.
Okay.